check. Alright then, let's just see. Okay. We are live from Houston. It's Wednesday night. Fuck me. Okay. Alright. Let us get this shit show on the road. Today we will be going over everything just generally after, what is it? We're gonna go over after the Mongols took over everything and Islam came into existence. Go over from that period all the way up to right before America. Basically right at the beginning of America. I say to absolutely nobody. I mean, like, somebody else is gonna watch this later, but to that one person who just joined, it's time for the 1450s to the 1700s, but not to the American Revolution. The American Revolution is, in fact, tomorrow. Today, we're going over the rise, I'm going to call it the rise of Europe, otherwise known as basically just the Middle fucking Ages. So, we're going to go over this pretty quickly. There is both a lot of things to digest and actually not too much, to be quite honest with you. So basically, in terms of Europe, there was a lot of wars that happened, such as the 30 Years' War from around the 1600s. 30 Years' War, which is basically just Protestants v Catholics. There's 100 Years' War, which is basically England versus France. That's it. England versus France. And there's also the 7 Years' War, which is that, but colonies. So, in other words, Europe had a lot of wars, but you might be asking, what the fuck is a Protestant? So, let's talk about that shit. So, by this point, we're gonna kind of skip around a bit. By around the 1500s, we got that good old guy named Martin Luther. And Luther, not Luther, that's the Superman villain, no, Luther. Okay, Luther basically looked at the Catholic Church, who's pretty established by now, and I know my last video wasn't very clear about the previous time period, it was kind of shit, but the Catholic Church did rise, and it rose pretty quickly, and it has a lot of power by this time, right? And by this time we have established countries, so I guess really I should be going over that. Sorry, we've got England, France, Spain, Portugal, I don't think the Holy Roman Empire, which was actually kind of a little bit before, and and the Dutch. Can't forget the Dutch. And these are our major European powers, and you just have to think, on terms of family, a whole lot of monarchs did a bunch of shit. Okay, just monarch after monarch continually fucking up or doing well. There's so many of them. Like, England had a civil war at one point over that. France just was fucking crazy. Russia finally freed themselves from the Mongols. You know, oh yeah, Russia was the thing. But all you really have to know is that Europe is here and is heavily influenced by the Catholic Church, except for Martin Luther, who would go on to create who goes on to create, Protestantism, or I don't know, to create the Protestant movement. There we go, Protestant movement, in what I believe is called the Reformation, right? And this even forced the Catholic Church to go back and think for a moment and be like, shit, guys, we're doing pretty badly. We are gonna need to reform ourselves. And so they did, right? But we're going over Europe now. We're gonna go over the Middle East later. But that's basically what happened in Europe. Bunch of religious wars were fought. The Catholic Church is really popular, and also is pretty damn corrupt. Protestants and the Anglican/English Church is introduced because people start really hating the Catholics, and also a whole lot of science be happening. Right? Let's see. Can we get the rainbow? I don't remember what a rainbow looks like. Close enough. You know what? The more you know. The more you know, motherfucker. Oh wow, I haven't cursed a lot. God damn. Shit. Okay, but these motherfuckers actually tried to introduce logic and science and shit. And it was a new, you could almost call it a revolution. Like a scientific revolution. Oh shit. And this introduced a whole lot of things that are gonna become important today, like Newton introducing gravity, and Copernicus introducing the sun is in the center of the solar system, and Francis Bacon introducing the scientific method, even though motherfucker Aristotle already started that shit, but Bacon made it cool in this time. And the most open to science is England, because they already fucking hate the Catholic Church, unlike everybody else, mostly. And so England is going to be most agreeable with, all this shit of science. Ooh. And not only science is starting to be introduced during this time period, but also philosophies, brand new philosophies. This is the time period of the Enlightenment. It's pretty fucking amazing. And this is in the latter part of the time period. We're talking about more 1700s, with people like Adam Smith in the 1700s coming up with capitalism, and people like, Voltaire and Montesquieu. These are two different people. Montesquieu and Locke coming up with ideas about freedoms and rights that would eventually become part of the American Revolution. Ain't that fucking cool? So these centuries were basically just a brand new fucking period for learning. Cities start growing as well, although, not as much, because this is still the past, and it's still mostly rural, but, there's just a couple more cities and universities popping up all over Europe, and it's becoming less and less of a shit pile, Pretty sure the Renaissance happened at some point during this time. Fuck if I can truly remember. I'm pretty bad in this. But let us see. Oh, now let's go over the colonies real fast. So basically, uh, colonies are starting to become a little bit pissed off because, you know, they're inspired by the Enlightenment. And so later in the next video tomorrow, we're gonna start going over shit like all of the fucking revolutions. And this weekend, I will be making a video over all of the hierarchies of the world, like the one of the colonies, with native Europeans on the top, Creoles below them, and everybody else below them. Right? We'll go over that later, but that's not really important. What you need to know is what I just said, that Europeans are the best, everybody else be a piece of shit. In their eyes, obviously. And, you know, by the end of this time period, 16 to 1700s, you know, we got the 7 Years' War, where France loses shit ton of territory to Britain, and the Americas are now colonized, and the 13 colonies are here. Which is pretty fucking cool. Let's see, anything else, or is this going to go a little bit, that goes a little bit too far. Okay. So that's everything off of Europe right now. But let me try to find, here we go. Basically, let's talk about the Middle East. Oh, fucking boy. So basically, in the Middle East, and color, Middle East. There are three? I think 3. Let me see. Okay, Middle East and Southeast Asia. So we got the Middle East, with the 3 main empires being the Ottomans from Turkey, the Safavids from Persia, and the Mughals from India. And so the Ottomans basically are the ones with the most Islamic rule. They follow it to a T. They're mostly traders, little production. They just basically use their huge fucking army. They just use their army to get shit. Kind of like the Mongols. And these motherfuckers, the Safavids, they did make a lot of shit. They made a whole lot of shit. And, you know, there's some names attached to these empires, but we're not really going to go over that. If you really want to know, I'll tell you a secret. The names are Ottoman Assad, Ottoman Assad 2, Ottoman Assad 3, Safavid Assad 1, Safavid Assad 2, Safavid Assad 3, and the Mughal Assads. Because it doesn't really fucking matter as long as you know that they existed and they did this shit. But actually, though, the most important one from the Ottomans is Suleiman the Great. Most important one from the Safavids is probably Shah Abbas, and the most important one from the Mughals is Akbar. Not Admiral Akbar. That's the most famous Star Wars admiral. Alright. But the Safavids basically produced a lot of things. Many things. They, let me see. They basically, they kept the Persian culture going, because up to this point it was kind of dying down to Islamism, but they kept the Persian culture ongoing, and they allied themselves with Spain and the East India Company, which is Britain. East India Company, which is basically just Britain. And the Mughals were the Indian Empire. They were called this because they were Mongol descendants. I don't know why that's important. That's not really important, but let's see. Not quite sure what the Mughals did. Basically, all that really happened was that guy named Babur came down, took over the place, fucking wrecked everybody's shit, and then created this huge empire. I don't know. They tried to unify the Islam and Hindu cultures, but ended up being like Islam's on top, Hindus go fuck yourselves, and eventually, after the last Mughal leader falls, Britain takes over. So, Mughals, Indians fight over religion and make stuff. Falls to the colonizing motherfuckers of England. Okay. Let's see, how long has this been going? 16 minutes. I'm gonna blast right on through this shit. Oh boy. Let's roll. And finally, we get to cover the rest of Asia. You know, let's see, what else was there? You know, basically in Asia, we got from 1450s to 1750s, Japan has the shogunates. Where they're basically, you got the shogun at the top, daimyos below them, samurai below them, and the rest of the motherfuckers below them. Okay. And so this was a very strict class system. So, you know, like in China, you had merit-based exams. Not fucking here. You are born into your station, and you're gonna stay there forever. Okay. And so and eventually, after getting through some shoguns, we get to the Tokugawa Shogunate, which is probably the height, establishing a period of relative stability for about 200 years until America comes in and fucks it over. You know, it followed such religions such as Neo-Confucianism. Followed such shit such as Neo-Confucianism, Zen Buddhism, and, you know, they still had their good old Shintoism. Anything else? I don't believe so. And China's just kind of fucking, what is it? Let's see. I had more things to look at. I swear. Uh-oh. Oh, here it is. Oh, and China had the Ming Empire. Fuck, I almost missed that shit. Huh. Damn, I forgot about the Ming Empire. Well, while I go look this up, I do know that it was basically the next golden age of China, where you know all those fucking Ming vases and shit. Huh. Yeah, this is basically the dynasty after the Mongols, because fuck the Mongols, right? Take a look. Really sorry. I cannot believe that I forgot. Can't believe I forgot the Ming Empire. Oh yeah, the Ming Empire. Okay, basically, the Ming Empire was the one with, here, let's clear the field. The Ming Empire. The, the Ming Empire. It's the one that got to experience American crops, decreasing famines. It's the one with that one Zheng He guy that traveled in huge Chinese warships. Uh, and then afterwards was the Qing dynasty, but we can go over those assholes later. And they basically just had a huge, long period of stability. Long period of stability. Okay. Wow, I'm really sorry. I can't believe I fucking missed that shit. Huh. Oh, they also built the Great Wall of China. That's fucking cool. Okay. Well. You'll probably have to look a little bit more into the Ming Dynasty. Sorry, I forgot. But otherwise, we're fucking done here. Peace out.